Hey, what's up, everybody? Today we're going to be going over one of my commander deck lists. That being for Endrek Sahr, the Master Breeder. It's one of my newer decks. I'm really liking it. It's a bracket 3 is what it technically ranks as. I think if you go on services like Commander Salt or whatever, using the old commander deck rating system, it's like a 5 or a 6 maybe. But I'm really enjoying it, having a lot of fun with it. I really only use it when the rest of the pod is using their better decks. So, keep that in mind. Of course, try to stay in line with the rest of your pod. But Endrek Sahr, if you don't know, whenever you cast a creature spell, you make black throw creature tokens, where X is that spell's mana value. And if you control 7 or more thralls, you have to sacrifice Endrek. So where that really comes up is Shadow of Mortality. One of my favorite creatures in this deck. Really cheap for what it does. Yeah, it's 15 converted mana, but it costs X less to cast for however much life you are below the starting life total. So pretty quickly you can cast this for only 2 mana. You'll make 15 thralls and you'll have a 7/7 on the field. But Endrek will sacrifice himself unless you have Conspiracy. Conspiracy is one of the most important cards in this deck. When it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. All the creatures you control are the chosen type. And it's not just the ones you control, it's also the ones in your graveyard or in your library. And why is Conspiracy significant, and why is it better than something that adds all creatures or goblins in addition to other types? Because it's not in addition to other types. It replaces their types with only the one you chose. So I usually go zombie because I have other effects that, zombies benefit from. But, if you don't have that, you go like hippopotamus or plant or something, so it just doesn't affect anything. Just make them not thralls so Endrek Sahr won't sacrifice himself. Back to the rest of the list, Gixian Infiltrator. He just gets bigger every time you sacrifice another permanent. So he's pretty good in this deck. It just becomes a big creature. It's just kind of like, if it's doing most of the work for you, you're probably not having a great game, I'm going to be honest. But if you need it, it's there. Tarfiend, you sacrifice creatures as you cast it to make it cast as larger. It gets 2+1/+1 counters for every creature sacrificed into it. And the big part is, whenever it comes into play, target player discards a card for each creature it devoured, which is really good. You can make someone discard their hand, which is amazing. Before we get into Drain, let me tell you about my good friends at Advanced GG, all right? So I love Advanced GG, been a big fan of their products for years now. My favorite right now is probably the Guava Berry Energy. Sour Gummy Worm Focus is another heater. But yeah, go check them out. Link down below. 10% off if you use code SPICER10. Anyways, probably more on them later. We'll see. But drain effects are going to be a massive part of this deck. All-star here is Mirkwood Bats. You know it. You love it. Whenever you create or sacrifice a token, each opponent loses 1 life. We have a ton of sack outlets in here, and we'll get to that later. So Mirkwood Bats puts in work. And Nadir's Nightblade also. Vein Ripper. It's probably one of the best cards from Murders at Karlov Manor. At least one of the only relevant ones. But yeah, Blood Artist, classic. Grey Merchant of Asphodel, another classic. Zulaport, Cutthroat, yeah, you know it. So yeah, these are the drain effects I put in here, and there might be a couple more listed in different categories that I just didn't sort correctly for whatever reason. But yeah, I think these are all some decent options. Some decently cheap ones outside of Vein Ripper. But yeah, Mirkwood Bats has gone up in price, so hopefully it gets a reprint or something at some point. We'll never know. Drawing cards. The auto sort feature on Archidect put some other cards in here too that I just don't agree are for drawing in this deck. But some of the better ones, Liliana Standard Bearer, very, very good. Skull Clamp, excellent. Equip it to a Thrall, and as it dies, you sacrifice it. So it dies with Skull Clamp equipped, but it's sacrificed for another payoff too. Great combo. Smothering Abomination. Whenever you sacrifice a creature, draw a card. So if you have your Ashnod's or Phyrexian Altar, you get to draw a card every time you get mana, which is really good because you get to go through your deck and, plop down spells, which this is like the only category that isn't dominated by creatures. And there's still a decent amount of creatures in this category. So we have a lot of creatures in this deck because that's how we get Thralls, and we're using Thralls as resources. That's the goal. You can swarm people with them. I haven't had that happen yet because I've had other ways to win before I've needed to do that, but it is an option. And to back up that option, Dark Triumph. Creatures you control get +2/+0 until end of turn. So you can attack with 3 1s after you've cast like 5 creature spells and just hit someone really hard. Exsanguinate. You can get infinite infinite mana decently quickly with this deck. So Exsanguinate is really good. Bolas' Citadel, you look at your top card of your library. This is just the fraud category. 2 of these things let you cast from the top. One of them for sacrificing non-land permanents, and one for your life total, which we're just kind of spending willy-nilly because we don't need it. And you're probably going to have 10 Thralls before you ever have Bolas' Citadel on the battlefield. Like, that's just how it happens. And Drivenod's really good too. Drivenod and Skull Clamp will make you draw 4 cards every time the equipped creature dies. It does not double up sacrifice triggers. Just so you don't get lost in that, if you're trying to rebuild this deck, it will not work. Okay? It will not double up your sacrifice triggers. It's only death triggers. Whether it's that whenever that creature dies or another creature dies, those work, not sacrifices. That's a different instance entirely. So just make sure you got that one in check. Gruesome Scourger and Maga Traitor to Mortals. I titled it Fuck You in particular because these are very easy ways to deal a lot of damage. Unfortunately, you can only do that damage to one person. There's the problem. I rock mid to high 30s for the amount of lands I always have in a deck. I, of course, have my Evolving Wilds, Terramorphics, Myriads, all the stuff that I can drop on the battlefield, sack it, get, basic lands. Then I have Cyclers, things like that. Reliquary Tower, just because this is a lot of card draw, and it's very effective at drawing you cards. Like, it's really good for it. And speaking of sacrificing things for basic lands, Burnish Heart's really good in this deck because you have a lot of things that benefit creatures dying or being sacrificed. So you get 2 basic lands, and then if you have Pitiless Plunder, you'd also get a treasure token. If you equipped it with, let's go back up, Skull Clamp, you're also drawing 2 cards. There's a ton of ways. Burnish Heart is just a good card. But there's a lot of ways to make it even better, which is really nice. Bantu's Monument, I don't think I've actually ever cast this. It is nice, It's a slight drain, and also it makes things cheaper, meaning you can cast more of them, getting more Thralls, but it's just not going to help you as much as something like Carnival of Souls. Carnival of Souls is actually massive in this deck. Whenever a creature comes into play, you lose 1 life and add 1 black mana to your mana pool. Meaning, if you cast Shadow of Mortality, you would get the 15 Thralls, but you would also get 16 black mana. Problem is you lose 16 life. So With that one in particular, it gets a little sketchy unless you think you're probably going to win because of it. You usually don't play that specific card. At least not for 2 mana. But yeah, Carnival of Souls lets you do so many things just freely. Because you're getting your mana back from casting the creature. And even converting some of it, because if you're using like your Soul Ring or Temple of the False God or whatever you have that makes colorless mana, it will convert it over to black mana after, you've cast the creature using partially that colorless mana. So it's a mana converter. It's ramp. It does lose you life, but it's just so good. Like, Endrek Sahr without Carnival of Souls, just it doesn't have the sauce. And then other notable cards in here, Pitiless Plunderer. Every time a creature dies, make a treasure token. That's just super good. Dark Ritual. It'll help you when you need it. Here's some recursion. Gravecrawler is the main reason why I say zombies every time. Forever Young, it's alright. This could definitely be upgraded. Forever Young could be better. Recursion isn't too important. Like, there's some creatures that are really good, and casting it multiple times will really help you out. But it's not, it's not really something you're too worried about because you're trying to win pretty quick with this. More ways to counter spells would be nice. But I do have Dash Hopes in here. It's not a great counter spell. All someone has to do is pay 5 life, and it counters the counter spell, But it's funny, and sometimes 5 damage is all you need, It's really stupid. But yeah, just some quick spot removal, a couple janky board wipes, like whenever a creature you control dies, each other player sacrifices a creature. 2 versions of that, okay? So... Or one version of that, this is spot removal. It's Flare of Malice. Read it wrong. Don't know why. Tragic Banshee. You might say, well, Tragic Slip is better. It costs less mana. That's correct, but Tragic Banshee is a 5/3 that costs 5 mana, meaning I get 5 Thralls and a 5/3. And, 6 mana. If I have everything out. Which is always the goal. Next, we have our sack outlets. Astronaut's Altar, which I have the Monty Python one. It's super cool. Bloodthrone Vampire. It gets +2/+2, so you can make a big creature and swing. Carrion Feeder, big creature you can swing with. Disciple of Grizzlebrand. I'm going to be honest. If you're going to switch out a card and go for something better or more expensive, this one's up at the top of the list, not going to lie. It's alright. Pay 1 mana, and you're probably sacrificing a 1/1, so 1 mana, 1 life. It's just not a great conversion, in my opinion. Sadistic Hypnotist is for when you're not trying to win the game at the moment, but you just want to be an asshole, so you're going to make someone discard. It's really a dickheaded move. Viscera Seer, really good card. Instead of just trying to draw cards, you can sack creatures until you get to the card you want. Then you could choose to draw, which is really solid. Gothmog. I don't care too much for Gothmog, but Gothmommies are a lot better. But I guess Gothmog's pretty cool because he'll give all of your Thralls Death Touch. Amassing Orcs, I don't care. But if I cast this 4 mana creature, I get 4 1/1s, and all of those 1/1s have Death Touch. That's pretty good. Then we have Nadir, Agent of Dusknell. He becomes massive, and or he creates a bunch of tokens, which, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Then to round this off, to help us get to these important cards that we need to pop off, we have Tutors, Demonic, Grim, Wishclaw. They're just good cards. And, the best part about them is you know what you're going to get. It helps increase your consistency. Having 3 of them really helps because, you got 99 cards in your 99. So you have a small chance, or a decent chance, to get one of them at some point in your game, letting you get to the pieces you need, whether that's I've had it be Bolas' Citadel that I needed. I've had it be Carnival of Souls. I've had it be Conspiracy that I have to go for. Sometimes multiple of them. But it just helps you get to that point faster. And I kind of brushed over a lot of these cards, but I kind of touched on the most important ones. And of course, you can see the cards on your screen yourself and make substitutions where you'd like to. Like, that's all chill. So anyways, that's about it for this video and this deck list. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Also check out Advanced GG. Tell me what you think of this deck. And I'm going to go through my decks and maybe do another one of these in like a month or so. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.